Essential EGL+Batch. This video series is based upon EGL Development Tools version 0.8. In today's lesson, we're going to deal with a number of new concepts, but mostly we're going to extend on the idea of a record and use a record within a record. So to get started, we're going to create the usual package, which is lab.lesson13. We'll start with a new source file called application info, and this is where we're going to define a couple of records. One is called application info, the other is called version info. And yes, we've used version info before, but this will be a lab.lesson13 version info. Now usually we declare version info with the open and close curly braces, but this time we're going to use a question mark so that it's nullable. So version info has major, minor, and micro as a number, like 0, 0, 0, or 0, 1, 2. And then application info has more information. We're going to also create an application library. And let me do the usual stuff with the application library. We'll create a function called demo and a function that's called show application info. Now there's a new function called get application info that returns an instance of, or returns a record of, application info. I'll fix up the decoration with the start function, end function from using BatchLib from lesson 6. So I'll create a new record called info, and I'll put between the open and close curly braces a comma delimited list of settings here. But notice that we can also use version, which is another record, and we can do the keyword new and continue to define a record within a record while we're on one line pretty much, which is very efficient in EGL. So we're filling out the application record. And with an array of strings, we can continue with the open bracket, a comma delimited list of strings, so we can fill in the notes of things that happened in the latest release of our application. Now I'll do right click, EGL source, and format to make that nice and pretty. And then the last piece is that we actually have to return the info variable. We've defined it on one line, and then we return it. And then, oh, that's right, it's supposed to be result, not info, as a convention. We're going to create an info variable of the type application info, which is a record, and then application info has a record inside. And then we're going to print this out on the console. Now, like we showed before, when we do info and dot, it brings up a list of fields that are in the record. But notice that here, this is not a string or a date or a built-in type, but this is version info. And then we put another dot, and it brings up the fields that are inside of version info. So let me do that a couple more times. So we're going to put in the major version, and then we'll do the minor version, and we'll also do the micro version. So you can access the parts of a record with the dot operator. And then continue on, we're going to do the modified date. And that'll be at that for that line. So it'll print the name of the application, the version, and then the date that was last modified. And I'll format that to make it nice and pretty. And now we're going to introduce a new keyword, for each. Now the way that the syntax is that we do for each, and then we define a variable. In this case, we're calling it item. And then we need to have the type. So it's for each an item. Item is defined so that you can use it within the loop. And then in this case it'll be a string. And then we use the keyword from to find an array. In this case it's info.notes, and if we take a look at notes, remember that it's a string array. So we can iterate through the string array with this syntax: for each item string from info notes. And then item takes on the value of each of the different elements in the notes array. So let's go ahead and create the program for this lesson, lesson 13. And I'll drop in the program here. And our program is going to call applicationlib.demo. So let's take it for a test drive, see what happens. Do the run as EGL Java main application. I'll click on the console icon. This has been another lesson of Essential EGL Batch. Thanks for watching.